Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host Matt Marrero along with the other host,
Tristan Walter.
And Tristan, what movie are we doing today? Because I've legitimately forgotten. It's been so long since I've seen it. We had some troubles when podcasting last time. The line went dead, so I'm praying, have my fingers crossed. Don't crap out on me, phone. But yeah. So I don't remember what movie are we doing. What movie are we doing, Tristan?
Well, I mean, we can only hope that Blog Talk will find a way.
God, fuck. Huh. What's interesting is, you know what it is? I remember last time during the cut that sadly none of you will hear, I made that joke far too many times, so he's coming at me. Just right from the get-go. Punches me in the face like Lil Mac is getting punched in fucking Punch-Out. Just boom.
I'm going for the jugular like a raptor jumping on you in the long grass. Don't go into the long grass.
But sadly, the long grass will find a way.
Shout that at them.
What was that?
No, I was saying I love how that had to be shouted out at the people running away.
Just by the way, just letting you know, there's dinosaurs. They hide in grass. Don't do that.
Yeah. Remember how we talked about that's where the raptors were all? Yeah. Well, no, all right, fine. Just go parading through there. Whatever. I
assume that was for us.
Yeah.
Like the fans. Like they're just like, all right, everybody's stupid. And it's like, no, we're not. I mean, we are, but not like that.
They were running from the Tyrannosaur before, but, I mean, they lost him, so, like...
Remember, Tristan, don't make any sudden movements.
Oh. Yeah.
By the way, in case anyone doesn't know, I want everyone to know, right, because I'm not wrong here. In case anyone doesn't know, Tristan, our resident dinosaur expert, Tristan, that's a fucking myth.
Yes.
I mean, sure, dinosaurs are dead. You can't ask them. But as far as we know, that's a fucking myth. And movies just had to give like the biggest, we consider the biggest, evilest dinosaur ever. As if there aren't carnivores. The biggest, evilest dinosaur ever, the T-Rex. We got to give him some weakness. What's his weakness? If you stand perfectly still, he won't eat you. What about Tom? Oh, fuck Tom, but you don't move it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, even if their eyesight wasn't the best, you bet your ass he can smell you. I'm sorry, but olfactory senses, yeah, that's definitely going to be a big thing for a carnivore.
That's the funniest thing, too, right? Like, how can you exist as a carnivore? And I mean this in the dinosaur sense, not in the human sense, because we're not built for the wild. But how can you exist as a carnivore? And it's just like, well, I can't see good, but I also can't smell good either. It's like you're gonna be running into fucking boulders, because boulders don't fucking move. Do boulders move, Tristan?
I mean, that depends on when and where you're talking about.
Fair. I'm talking about
power, no.
Yeah, so the dinosaurs are going to be fucking running into trees all fucking day, like, whoa. Sorry, it didn't come out of nowhere. It was just standing there. I didn't know. No, because it's just the dumbest weakness when you actually think about the fact that why aren't dinosaurs crashing into walls? Constant, like why T-Rexes specifically? Why aren't T-Rexes crashing into walls? Because it's bullshit. Anyway, but back to what matters.
We're actually here to talk about Jurassic Park 2. Well, The Lost World, for the actual title. But let's be honest, it's Jurassic Park 2.
How funny was it that in, what was this? I think it was in 97. In 97, so 20 years ago they knew yeah, we can't call it number 2. The stigma of it's the second one is still prevalent 20 years ago. Like, that's like, it doesn't matter how long ago it is, just like, oh, it's the second one. People are going to be like, Jurassic Park 2? No. Jurassic Park, The Lost World. And it's like, what lost world? It's like, Tristan, what lost world? We found in the first one.
Yeah.
Hell, they find it in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, those rich people on their yacht who think they can camp out wherever they please. Yeah.
And it really sucks, too. Because I think they... Well, you know what? I'll say this much. Spielberg and obviously everyone else who, gave their hand to the pot in terms of, like, writing of this, it was smart. It's, as much as I hated that the little girl got hurt, it was smart to do that because I feel like if, not the mom necessarily, but if the dad was getting eaten, I think people would be rooting for it, for them, you know? No, I'm being serious. Like, the way, like, not so much the mom, because the mom was kind of, like, a bit too much, but not in a way where you want her to get eaten. But, like, the dad, there's something about the dad which is like, honey, you have to let the child be. It's just like, oh, God, shut the fuck up. Sure, we're just going around anywhere, but we're making nature, or, putting it under our boots, and we can do whatever we want. Just like, so it's like, I don't like him. But the little girl, it's like, oh, she's trying to be nice to dinosaurs. And that's the problem, kids. Do not be nice to strangers.
Do not feed the wildlife.
Basically. The same thing, I remember the same thing happens, I've been told don't feed bread to pigeons. And it, like, legit, like, bread isn't the best for them. And also, I've tried once, that happened. That is in fact
honestly,
what happened.
The same thing. I mean, birds are living day dinosaurs, so... Yeah, I'm surprised you're alive, Matt. You were lucky.
I got to be honest. That time wasn't bad, but then the second time it happened to me and geese, oh, God, we can't even go into that story. My girlfriend was there, my kid.
You were in the hospital for 3 months?
Yeah, people recognizing me on the train.
You had to get
the whole thing.
Cosmetic surgery? Yeah. You look like Jeff Goldblum now.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know if that
I do. It just happens every once in a while. Everyone just looks like Jeff Goldblum. What I'm confused about, so here's what I'm confused about. Why is Jeff Goldblum as old as he is and looks as good as he does?
Because some people are magic.
I got to be serious here, though. I thought he was in the first movie, I thought he was in his 30s. Late 20s, mid to early 30s. Apparently, he's currently, I think it was 61. So he was 41 in this movie, which in this movie, yes, he looks a bit older, to be fair. But in the first one, especially, he looks super young.
And he's still able to run from dinos.
I know. It's very, again, cardio. Really good cardio when you're, a mathematician?
Yeah, pretty much. K-I-tician.
Yes. So speaking of ages, by the way, how funny was it? They brought back the same actors for the kids. They didn't change them at all. But, like, just the gap in filming was like it's hilarious where it's just Jeff Goldblum's like, hey, kids. And, like, the fucking littlest one is like, why, hello. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
I think it was only, like, 3 years or something. It's like, wow, you kids grow up fast. Wow.
No, it's kind of funny, though, because...
Hammond just had their genes manipulated, too, I guess.
It seemingly. It was so it was supposed to be 3 years in movie land. How many years was it in our time? Was it like 5 or 4?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm only bringing it up because I'm not.
First one was like 93, and then this one was
97.
Yeah. All right. So 4 years. Yeah.
Okay, I bring it up not just because of how the kids look. Literally, just the littlest one goes from, like, just, hey, I really like dinosaurs, to like, I think I might be a man now. Fucking the kid has a kid of his own. By the time we fucking get back to the story, it's the fact that I didn't realize this until I was doing some research on the movie. Not recently, actually, but the first time I saw it, which wasn't that long ago, funnily enough. When I was looking into it, I realized that apparently not only is Jurassic Park based off of a novel, which I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of does for that, but the fact that Spielberg talked to the writer of the first novel and said, hey, we would like you to make a second novel so that we have something to work off of, which doesn't sound the worst to me, only because I know that there's some people out there that are really upset by it, and I understand, right, as a writer, I get it. I understand, like, I wouldn't want someone to pressure me to write another work, especially because the author never wrote a sequel to any of his other stories. However, I feel like unless someone can tell me if I'm wrong, and depending on how you're listening to this, either through our Blog Talk Radio account or through our YouTube channel, whichever way, please talk to me, right, and tell me if I'm wrong here. I don't think they stole money from him, or anything like that. In fact, they literally told him, can you make more money for yourself and us?
Right.
Unless I'm wrong, and they were like, and when you do it, you're going to give us more royalties than ever, old man, and then slapped them like once. But if Spielberg didn't do that, then I don't know, man. Like, I understand why people can be frustrated. Again, creative process, it's what you do. You don't want to be pressured. But it's not like he sold just as many copies of the first one, I believe, on the second one. It's not like the second one was a major flop and everyone was like, this is shit. No, they were just like, oh, that's interesting. We liked the movie and we liked the first one, like novel form, and then they read the second one. So it was also a bestseller. So I don't think we should look at this guy as if it's, completely like, oh, no, look at what big bad Spielberg did to him. He made him millions. That's just my take on it, though. If you disagree or something, Tristan, I understand.
Yeah, no, I'm not really sure about the specifics either, but I mean, anything to really force someone to make a creative property is kind of weird, but at the same time, like you said, I'm sure he still made money off of that too. But it's kind of weird.
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing.
Oh, we need you to make another novel so we can make another movie. Really? At this point, do you really need me to do that? Like, I mean,
well, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yes. It's weird. I'm not saying it's not weird. It's totally weird, especially because different parts of this movie completely disregarded the novel. So it's like,
right.
Why did you even try?
Yeah,
I assume they did it.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming. They did it because they wanted it to seem official and legit, but it's still so strange. So, yeah, I agree with you 100% on the strange aspect. I'm just saying that I feel like there are people out there that are just like, and even me when I first heard it, I was like, they forced him to write another one? And it's like, well, like, it's not like they had again, unless I'm wrong, it's not like they said, well, you're contractually obligated. If you don't write one, we'll get someone else to. We own the IP now. Like, no, I'm pretty sure that, Universal said, hey, we'll pay you the rights to do the first one. We might make another movie, and if that's the case, then, yeah, we would be paying you for those rights as well.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you pay people for the rights. You don't necessarily own the IP just by, paying someone the rights to make a movie. You can make more movies depending on how much you've paid them or how the contract worked, but you can't say, and we're writing the second book for you.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So, like, if he didn't write the book, I don't think they would have. I mean, they may have went with a second movie, but I don't think they would have, like, broken his kneecaps.
Yeah.
But, so, okay. Talking about the movie itself, though, how did you feel about this movie overall?
I enjoyed it. I mean, obviously, I still like the first one best, but I don't know if I'm in the small camp of opinions, but I like the second movie better than the third movie. and I'm sorry if you feel differently, but you're wrong.
So you like the second one more than the third?
Yes.
Interesting, because I thought you liked the third one more because of main character Grant Boy coming back.
Yes, he's still my favorite character out of them all, but even he couldn't save the train wreck that was that movie.
So I got to be honest, I don't remember the third movie. Something tells me in my heart of hearts I like it more, but I have to see it again to actually judge it. So that'll be for a future podcast. I don't want to touch it. But
I will go into my reasons in that podcast. Trust me.
Okay. The reason why I'm talking about this movie being a bit different, and maybe they called it The Lost World not to try to take away the stigma of, oh, it's a second movie. Maybe they wanted this to be more like of a, not a spin-off necessarily, because I'm not trying to diminish the movie at all, but the fact that they were like, hey, let's go with the mathematician guy who everyone really liked, and yes, of course, everyone liked him. It just feels very spin-off-y. Like very sequel-y, like, oh yeah, we can't get the first guy again, so what are we going to do? Oh, let's go with that one. Obviously Jeff Goldblum as an actor, his star was already rising by the time Jurassic Park came out, but obviously Park was such a hit that, and his other movies around the time as well, that it was even stronger by the time this movie came out. But
right.
I don't know if, as I love Goldblum, and I love him as Mac, I don't know. I felt strange about the choice of, oh, let's get him to do this. Like, him being the main character. Let's bring back the kids briefly. That was nice, though. But they bring back the kids briefly. They have the professor back again. And then we get more backstory into a character that, in the novel, funnily enough, died. Sorry for spoilers, everyone.
Right.
So it's interesting how not only did he not die, but he's so popular that he gets his own film. And believe me, I love the dynamic between him, his girlfriend, especially he and his daughter, where they introduce his African-American daughter and just no reference to it whatsoever, other than like that one-off joke from other people. But like no reference with the girlfriend, with him, with his daughter, no weird plot of like, but Dad, we're so different. No bullshit like that. Just, yeah, she's my daughter. And?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
that was nice.
I'm not saying, yes. Because I'm sorry about that. I heard you saying something, Tristan, and I agreed with you so heartily, I just had to interrupt you to agree.
Okay.
But what were you saying?
I mean, I was just agreeing with you, that's all.
So that I'm agreeing with myself even harder? Is that what I'm doing? Is this the narcissism that has become this podcast?
Apparently you are. You're giving Dr. Malcolm a run for his money.
Clearly. There's one thing I want to mention, by the way. And now this, as much as I love Goldblum, in this case, I do have to say this. I think this movie, either him or just the movie, was rushed. There was something that was rushed because while Goldblum, his character is very awkward, and it worked very well in the first movie, in this one, it just comes off as awkward acting, not awkward character.
Yeah, I guess you would say some of his lines felt off, or I believe the way you worded it the last time was Jeff is only going to take the one take, and that's what we're getting.
Yes, and I mean that so much as not necessarily Jeff as in that's all Jeff wants to do, more so that we don't have time, so whatever take it is, that's the one we're getting. And I only say that because it's not as if you can't do others, because like no actor is good on the first take, at least in my opinion. It's very hard to go, well, it was the best first take ever. So hearing some of what was going on with, his speaking, his mannerisms, it didn't feel like it was Malcolm. It felt like it was Jeff Goldblum being awkward. But again, I don't know, not in a way that I felt like was endearing or charming like in the first one. And again, certain parts was endearing and charming with it. But other parts it just felt like, if you were like, if you want to say, go to the fridge and get some food, he'd be like, can you go to the fridge and get some food? And just these strange pauses that didn't feel like he was being Malcolm. It just felt like, you have to get to the car, the Jeep, van, vehicle? Yes. And it's just like, oh, okay. Yeah, so certain things like that, where other ones, I don't know, I feel like you can tell, like, oh, yes, this is what the character would do. But others, especially with his daughter a little bit, felt like it was like, okay, we have to get through these quicker. One thing also, and this has nothing to do with the daughter, although I really wish if she knew, she could have called them out on this, but it killed me so much. Maybe it was for copyright, trademark reasons, I don't know, but I died a little inside when I heard the phrase, that place doesn't even have Sega. I was like, oh, my heart. It just hurt so much.
It was when Malcolm's talking to his daughter and saying, oh, I called so-and-so and you can stay with her while I'm away on this trip. She's like, yeah, she doesn't even have Sega. Yeah, something like that.
Now, if anyone doesn't understand, like let's say if someone's like, I don't really get you. Maybe there are some people that are like, I don't get it. Sony PlayStation, right? Sony made the PlayStation, but you would say, oh man, they don't even have, especially at that time, PlayStation 1, you could say, because there was no 2 or 3, you could say they don't even have PlayStation. You could arguably get away with that sentence structure. But when it comes to, another example would be like Nintendo, where it's like, yes, the original Nintendo system at the NES, the Nintendo, you can call it the Nintendo. But at that point, Super Nintendo came out, but you could still call it the Nintendo, potentially. But saying the phrase the Sega, or they don't have Sega, it's like saying, you can go over there. No, they don't even have Sony.
Right, yeah.
It's like, what? You mean the Sony PlayStation? They don't even have Sony. It hurts me, Tristan. As a Let's Player, it hurts me. I'm not expecting her to go crazy here and be like, I'm not expecting craziness, Tristan. I don't expect, she doesn't even have Sonic and Knuckles. I'm not expecting anything in depth.
Oh, my God.
No, I don't expect her to go nuts and just be like, I don't understand. I don't expect her to do a Let's Play while discussing things with Jeff Goldblum. I'm just saying that, it's rough that it's just the word Sega when it's like, that's the company. How can you get away with saying the name of the company but not think Sega Genesis? What do you think it'll make it timeless? What the fuck?
Welcome, Jurassic Park and Knuckles.
Jurassic Park and Knuckles. As Knuckles, he would just be flying around, and it would actually kind of work. Oh, God, yeah. Jurassic Park and Knuckles.
Oh, God.
So, I have to say, putting that aside, I think so I like the movie because, look, I'm not saying I don't like them going back to, not the specific area, but to this island where all the dinosaurs are like, hey, we're still living. Because to be fair, Tristan, to be very fair, in the first movie, you had Goldblum saying, life finds a way. And it did, clearly.
Well, the thing is, they make the distinction, there are 2 different islands. The island that they were on was the island that had the park. But the second island that they go to in this movie is actually where they bred the dinosaurs and then moved them to the island with the park.
Right, thank you for reminding me. But now here's something strange that I thought the first movie, didn't they hatch them in the park, or do they only have certain displays? Do they hatch them for display?
That one, yeah, because they took a tour. There was a tour of the lab, so that one might.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And they had bigger reserves with more, a larger hatchery on the actual breeding island, or they, bred them at the molecular level at the one island, and then, and then brought the eggs over to the next island. But yeah, I think that was for more display than anything else, and most of them were hatched and raised to, at least a few months probably before they brought them over the island with the park.
That's true. So that's a good point. A little thing there that in my head I was like, why would they do that? But you're right. That's actually a great explanation as to why that seemingly happened.
Yeah. The park island is Nublar, and then the breeding island is the Sorna. Right. That's what it was. The name.
What I think is really funny, and it's something that I don't think you and I picked up on. I actually just picked up on it while we're discussing the film. The one way, and I know some might say many other ways, but I think the one way that this film is super, and I mean duper dated, and I don't even think it's a suspension of disbelief thing, it's just super dated because of the fact that you have people making fun of Malcolm on the train. Like, that guy said that dinosaurs exist.
Right, yeah.
In 2017, it would be all over Facebook and Twitter. It's something that we don't think about because I use social media mostly for, those guys on the radio, those guys play, Teacher Productions. You don't use it much at all other than to, post your Cubone costumes on Facebook. So, happy Halloween. It was a good-looking costume, Tristan. And so it really was. I loved it. And what was I? Oh, yeah, so I always thought of his Cubone costume. I was like, where was I going with this? But no, I do think that it's kind of funny that they're not just taking pictures with their cameras because I think that's, you're a photographer. Of course, you could take pictures with an iPhone. I think it'd be best to take it with your professional camera equipment. It's the fact that they're all making fun of Malcolm on the train, and it's like, yeah, right, because he can only go on TV.
Right.
So everyone sees him on TV, and then you have the shitty corporations that are like, what do you mean? Dinosaurs don't exist. And he's like, no, they do. Who are you going to believe? You or a bunch of people we pay to say they don't exist?
And then we're going to turn around and bring them into a theme park and say, hey, look, dinosaurs exist. We just found them now. Never mind that other guy.
That's how fucking... Okay, so that's one shitty thing in the plot that at least we can agree on.
Well,
even though you like this one more.
It wasn't necessarily them saying that, oh, no, they don't exist. It was more of them just covering up the fact of, yes, these animals are wild and dangerous, and people died. And nope, we're just going to sweep that under the rug and, pay people off, and we're going to be good to go from there.
Okay.
I'm
all right,
taking
fair.
Company, taking it away from my, I don't remember what his relation to him was.
I think it was his nephew.
Yeah. Oh, that guy was such a dick.
Oh, yeah, no, I fucking hate his guts.
I'm so glad he died. There's always those characters in these movies where it's like, you look at the cast and be like, oh, I hope he doesn't die. Oh, I hope she doesn't die. Oh, I hope he fucking dies. You're like, please let him be the one that gets eaten.
I have to say, though, I wasn't a big fan of introducing the bounty hunters only because I felt like I didn't want to give too many people for us to be like, I hope they die. Because we're supposed to be not anti-dinosaur necessarily, but we're supposed to be pro-human enough to know that if a dinosaur is going to get shot because it's going to kill you, we should be like, take out the dinosaur.
Right.
That's just my take on it. Like, I feel like it feels like it kind of plays both sides of like, take out the dinosaur. Actually, not really though, because we want those to live to kill those guys.
It's like take out the dinosaur. Wait, no, what are you doing? No, not take it out of the park. I meant should. Oh God, why are you bringing it to California?
Oh God, yeah, that's something I definitely didn't like because it just made no sense.
My uncle's island park was, billions of dollars into something that was bound to fail. Now, my idea is bringing them back to the mainland, only one at a time, so we only have to deal with one breaking out and eating. Oh, God, it's eating everyone in a 10-mile radius.
No, like, how shitty is it? Like, you literally could have. I know dramatic tension. I get it's a movie. I fucking get it. But you couldn't have brought a fucking herbivore? Really?
Yeah.
Like, I know the thought. Who's gonna come see a herbivore? Yeah, but you fucking bring it. Like, because to me, okay. Well, and I know you mentioned this the last failed attempt that we had. You said that, this movie in a way reminds you of King Kong. I feel like this is in a way worse, only because at least the thought is we will chain up the giant ape. Shitty idea, I know, but we're still chaining up a giant ape that, we want people to come see the giant ape. It's just the one ape, and it could hurt people, but it's also a giant ape. So, I don't know, like, the thought is, to me, giant ape versus T-Rex? Which one is more deadly?
I mean, a circus elephant is still dangerous, too, if you piss it off and mistreat it. It will still trample you to death.
A, that's true. B, I'm shocked that you didn't see a Godzilla reference in what I just said, but it's okay. We live and we move on.
Yeah. I mean, depending on what movie you jump to. Yeah, I mean, Godzilla's just a mutated World War II T-Rex.
World War II T-Rex.
Yeah. Well, because
it
survived the present day on an island in the Pacific, and then it got nuked. And it's like, oh no!
Basically.
It's mutating! Oh, I still love that.
Basically. But no, original Godzilla was nice. We've discussed that before on those guys on the radio. But yeah, I just cannot understand why. I mean, I get it. It's a movie, drama, but I feel like the first one, as much as I may have complained a little bit, but it still felt like, hey, let's just, let's show you guys why this is a good idea. So after it not being a good idea, why would you make it less of a good idea?
Well, no, Matt. The point is we're going to downsize it, and we're gonna make it more manageable.
That I'm okay with, but why bring it to the mainland?
Because it's more manageable there.
No, because all you had to do. All right, let's tranquilize the T-Rex. Where are we moving it? To the third island. I know it sounds convoluted, but damn it, from a business perspective, you move it to the third island where it's alone. If you're going to isolate a T-Rex, why are you putting it near hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah.
It's just insanity.
Let's always go straight for technically they didn't have the Rex at first. It was only because the heroes let loose all their other dinosaurs that they were going to bring back, which,
fair.
Oh no, since heroes fucked everything else up for us, I guess we'll just have to bring the apex predator of the Cretaceous period back with us. Because that can't go wrong.
No.
Do you hear yourself speak, or is it just us?
Yeah, right. I have to say this one thing. Thinking about the relation to King Kong, and this is something that I loved so much. Watching the shot when Goldblum is on the island with the two photographers, one of them being Vince Vaughn, the one photographer, the other guy who is the Trank guy, and all three of them are standing there, and there's a log in front of them, and it was just really cool because it reminded me of that shot in King Kong where they're looking literally over the log in some trees and they see the dinosaurs just going by.
Right.
And what was interesting is that you could tell that, in my opinion, you could tell that the log was there as like a divider, and that's where the green screen is.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was, too, in King Kong, except no green screen. I think we talked about this. Yeah, we talked about this during King Kong, but if any of you didn't hear that podcast, little tidbit here that I found super fucking cool. King Kong, obviously, came out in 1933. Really old movie. So when it came out, green screen, what the fuck's that, right? What the fuck are special effects? So what they what the fuck are computers? So what they did was they filmed the dinosaur bits and they filmed the people bits separately. And then to put them together, they put one frame of film over the other. So that's how they simulated both being in the same shot.
Yeah, and it works really well, too.
It really did. And that's what's so interesting about it, where, I mean, obviously, yes, the film is a little bit degraded because it is one strip over another. But in terms of, like, when you actually think about today's standards of, like, how people do things today, where you just put up a green screen, you can film anything anywhere. It's crazy to think, like, wait, this was in 1933, no computers, wait a minute. Like, let's sit back and think about this for a second. How the fuck does this exist? So that, to me, was super interesting. And seeing that here, I was like, oh, that's a nice little, like, nod tribute. Like, it really does feel like they were trying to go for, like, a King Kong vibe in this, obviously bringing the thing to the mainland. It was just done in a really stupid way.
Well, I mean, that's what it is for, I mean, it's not even, the audience is in complete agreement with, with Malcolm's character. It's like, no. People died last time. Why are we still doing this?
I love that you needed to put a Jeff Goldblum way of speaking to it. No. the pause when you said it, I was like, God damn, you're really channeling him. Oh, my God. But, yeah, I understand, right, yes, we're supposed to agree with him, but it felt like it was too easy. Like, I'm not saying it needs to be harder, it needs to be like, moral dilemmas, but it was super fucking easy. Like, hey, could we just not bring the,
the state of California needed dinosaurs to boost its state economy. I mean, come on. Just like, I'm sorry, the fruit is just not doing it anymore.
Well, I mean, to be fair, in 1997, weed was not legalized in California yet, so they needed something to boost the revenue. They were like, dinosaurs? It's like, okay.
You want to take a trip? No, not that kind. I mean, back into the past. Oh, gosh.
No, not that kind. But we're
going to show you dinosaurs. Stop trying to light up. Wait, no, you're not supposed to light up while you're watching the dinosaurs. Come on!
I love that as you say that. Some people, long-time listeners know this. I have the movie on in the background while I'm doing the podcast. I've already seen it, but I just, have it going on again in case there's any little scene I want to reference. And as you said, no, don't light up. The car stops with all the bounty hunters, and the dude with the cowboy hat, who clearly looks like he's stoned,
oh my God,
just stands up, and I'm like, that's hilarious.
Wait, you mean the guy
with the cowboy hat, who with the long beard?
Yeah, he's supposed. See, this is the funny part for me watching it as a kid, because I know who he's supposed to be. He's actually supposed to be a paleontologist, but the story, like in the movie, he's a paleontologist that they brought with him to, help identify the dinosaurs and like take them in. But he's an actual paleontologist in real life. It's Robert Bacher, and he was actually pretty famous at the time. I mean, he's still pretty well known these days too. I'm pretty sure he's still alive, but he's definitely up there. But yeah, I used to listen to him as a kid, watching different specials on television and reading stuff by him, and it made me I was kind of mad at his portrayal in this, because he's not a total idiot like the character is in this. But I think it's funny to make him look exactly like him. I don't even think they actually call him by name in the movie. I could be wrong, but I don't think they did.
No, I think it would be good, because, I mean, it's kind of strange. Like, I'm not saying, okay, so in a way, I guess some people could maybe compare it to, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson, just being as entertaining as he is. But normally, he wouldn't be in a movie that would make him seem like, because he can be silly, but he's silly and knowledgeable in every Or, like obviously, if people don't know, he was a pig in Gravity Falls. Now, so like, he can be funny when it's not supposed to be Neil deGrasse Tyson, right?
Right.
But when you see the person's face and they're doing basically what their job is in real life, if it was any other job, like if it was like, an office party and there's Dave that works in the office and he's in an office party movie and he acts like a jackass, there's like a weird sense of like, wow, Dave must be a dick at the office.
Right. It wasn't even the fact that it's funny. Like his character wasn't a jerk really or anything, but like it's kind of the idea he's working with the bad guys in the film, so it's like, no, why would you do that? But it was more the idea that his character just went out like a total punk, because he's the guy who got eaten in the waterfall when they were chased by the Rex later on in the movie, and the snake crawled down his shirt, and then he's like, oh,
right.
Snake, stop it! And he falls out of the waterfall and gets bitten in half, and it was like, really?
I think that's how he would have wanted to go. No, I think he was just happy to be in the movie so much. He's like, I will die in any way possible.
I mean, it was definitely a different guy playing him. He was just kind of a lookalike.
Oh, fair. But no, then I mean that's fair. Yeah.
The character's reasoning for being there would be along the lines of like Malcolm's girlfriend, like why she went. It's like, yeah, I get to study dinosaurs that have been dead for thousands of years, and I get to put theories that I've, tried to fight for this entire time. I actually get to see it in front of my eyes and get conclusive proof. It's like, who wouldn't want to, take this opportunity? And I mean, to be fair, it's not like she was coming from just like, oh yeah, I dig them up in the earth. It's like, let me go see the real thing now. Like when Hammond brought, Grant in the first time, it's like, yeah, of course they, wanted to see them up close, but it's like in the girl's case here, she's photographed like wild game, like African wild game and other big predators or big herbivores before, so she knows to like, oh, stay downwind, stay hidden, mask your scent, don't touch the babies, which she ended up breaking that rule very quickly anyway. But
yeah, she did, which it sucks because I want to shit on her for it, but it is dinosaurs and that was a herbivore, so it's not like she touched T-Rex babies.
Which, I mean, it was the Stegosaur baby at the beginning, but it's like, at the same time, Matt, like, I love dinosaurs, and I'd love that chance too. I still wouldn't fucking touch the offspring, because, god damn it.
Fair.
That is the surefire way to get dead immediately.
Yeah.
I mean,
so, like what is...
Think about it. It's like, if somebody walks up to you and says, oh, or doesn't say anything to you, sneaks up behind you and starts patting your baby on the head, you're going to punch them in the face and say, stay away from my child.
That's an amazing point, because I was going to ask, like, from the dinosaur's perspective, they clearly have to look down at you and, like, you are a tiny little thing. Because here's the thing, right? I would look at it like this, right? If someone did that, yes, I'd want to punch them in the face. But if they were a fellow child like my baby, I'm not going to knock them out.
I mean,
well, he was touching my kid. He was a kid. Yeah, well, he got to know what he can't do. You threw him in the street. But you see what I mean?
Like, you look human. Okay. It's like, you look like another dinosaur. I mean, even then, it's like, no, stay away. But...
Yeah, fair. No, because that's what confuses me, because it's kind of just like, as a dinosaur looking at them, of course you don't want it to touch your offspring, but it's not like, I guess maybe it's like you're an unknown predator, perhaps. I don't know what you are, so stay away from my goddamn kid.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
That's
I just...
work. Yeah.
Perfect, word for word, yes. But one thing I want to mention, because before I even go into that, I want to say thank you for telling me at the end that he was a lookalike, because the way you were describing it, I thought it was the legit guy playing himself, but not mentioning him by name.
No.
Okay. Okay, I only asked that because, or I only say that because I made the Neil deGrasse Tyson reference, because Neil deGrasse Tyson does do shows like Cosmos and stuff where he's like, no, it's me.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so jumping back to the character's motivations, because you brought that up. Yeah, I do have to say that I was frustrated with the way everything was set up with Malcolm, because obviously, yes, Malcolm would not want to go back. Everything bad happened there. But it was so strange just to have like the meeting where it's like, "Ooh, let me try to convince you," and it's like, "No, well, I didn't want to tell you this, but your girlfriend's there." And then I don't know, it felt like a very. I mean, I'm happy to see that her character was not a damsel in distress. That was a beautiful thing to see. But it felt very, not necessarily cliche, but I don't know. There's just certain things about it that it felt like it's like, oh, well, we have to introduce the girlfriend and the daughter to both humanize Malcolm and also draw him in, because why else would he want to stay there? So it felt convenient. That's the word I'm looking for. It felt very convenient.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny. Even the movie kind of does it too. Like, leave it to you, Malcolm, to have, to have connections to people in this field that I would need to hire from, and would have no idea that they were connected to you. And it's like, you got my girlfriend here, didn't you? Like, I never said that. It's like you just said. But,
I actually didn't know she was your girlfriend at the time. Now I do, and boy, is it fucking convenient.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from that standpoint, it does feel very convenient. But again, it's like it would be the only thing that would get Malcolm to go, because Hammond's like, he has all these best intentions to be like, no, I know you're right. People did die, and I'm not trying to get it. I'm not trying to do this to open the park up again. I'm trying to do this so no one else will make my mistake. Kind of idea.
Yes.
So,
yes, from his perspective, that's what it is. Obviously not from the nephew's perspective.
Yeah, no, the nephew's just like, no, we need to make money because the company is going down the toilet because my uncle had people die on the island. So I'm going to make all the money back and not do anything wrong like he did. Like,
so here's something funny. And I don't mean this as a joke. I mean this legitimately. Like, here's something that I found funny that I just saw. So I was looking at the concept art because they were doing that whole presentation of like, here's how the park in California would look. So I saw the art where it's, it shows like someone actually drew like Jurassic Park as a sign, in California, and it looked like, in my head I was like Jurassic Snack, and then I chuckled, but I actually sat back and thought, man, it would have just been so much more feasible for them to make like Bronco burgers.
Oh my god.
Like, no, wouldn't it have been fucking feasible to be like, here are new dino burgers? Like, what the fuck is Hammond's problem? His first idea for capitalism is let's make a fucking zoo. Now, I know some people would say, Matt, it's worse to eat these beings. But his first idea of capitalism, no, we got to make people look at the predators.
Well, see, that was the thing. Hammond didn't seem like your everyday, capitalist entrepreneur either. He's
extremely
really
eccentric.
Oh, yeah. Like, exactly. He's borderline
We
insane.
can't eat the animals. That would be cruel. Blow them the fuck up. It's like, okay. It's like, okay, Hammond. Sure, man. Whatever floats your goddamn fucking mad scientist boat.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I really felt bad for him in this movie because, like, it looks like his health is declining. I feel like he's got to fight for custody to see his grandkids at this point. Like, his whole company, now granted, he has blood on his hands, so, like, yeah, he kind of has to own up to that. But at the same time, it's like, he wanted to make people smile and have people have fun and see the wonder of seeing dinosaurs. And it all went so horribly wrong.
There is a movie in itself with his health declining and with the kids growing up so fast. I think they're stealing his life energy. I don't know. I have no proof, but there's dinosaurs in that world, so apparently anything can happen. I'm convinced, Tristan. They're stealing his life energy. I don't know how yet, but I'll find a way. I'll see what's going on. Also, by the way, okay, did I love the scene where the trailer is falling off the edge and there's dinosaurs and they're trying to eat them? I fucking love that scene. The way to get there, so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. Like, why would Vince Vaughn, I mean that both as the character and Vince Vaughn as a human being, why would Vince Vaughn find a goddamn dinosaur in the forest? Oh no, it's hurt.
Well, because he was a secret activist too against like hunting and poaching and stuff like that too. And when you see a baby animal with a broken leg screaming out in pain, you know, he's like, I know this is a terrible idea. Shut up and help me so we can get it back outside before its parents come to fucking eat us.
But why is the trailer safe?
Well, it was the only place that they could really work on it and have the supplies to actually fix them up.
Take it outside the trailer? Tell them to come outside? Like, I know, like, I get it. Filming the scene, setting it up, it makes sense that it's in the trailer, and it looks really cool that they're trying, you know, oh no, we're about to fall out, and like all that shit. Really cool. It was just so dumb to me that it was just like, we have to bring it in here. And then, of course, they set it up so that his daughter is out of the trailer at that point so that things can get really cool.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, the whole movie is one bad decision after another. Like, that's just how Jurassic Park goes. It's like there is never no character ever makes the right choice of, no, I'm not going to go to the island. No, I'm not going to touch that baby dinosaur. No, I'm going to leave right now and not look back.
Yes, I understand. But there's certain bad decisions, certain levels, I think.
At the beginning, he's like, so I'm taking my daughter and getting the fuck out of here. Any of you who want to join me before your imminent doom and death, you know, come to eat you, come with me right now.
That's a really good impression. You did it again, Tristan. You're getting the voice down.
I'm not actually trying to do it that much on purpose. It just kind of comes out that way.
It does, because what you have to do is you have to say it, and then, like, the second to last word, just pause briefly.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, I want to say the CGI definitely improved for the dinosaurs compared to the last one, but I think they kind of skimped out on other shots. And I don't know if that's because I'm watching the Blu-ray version. It probably is. But when I say skimped out on other shots, I mean, like, hear me out, Tristan. When you have Goldblum and the daughter and the Trank guy, and they're in the giant, the lookout. Yeah. It's very easy to tell. Yeah, it's very easy to tell that it's either a painted background or that it's green screen behind them. I'm not saying that they're supposed to be 40 feet in the air. I wouldn't put Jeff Goldblum 40 feet in the air. I'm just saying that it feels as if that scene, or when the guys were driving, the mercenary bounty hunters, when they're driving and they're talking before they actually end up getting, like, they're driving to the island, like you see the helicopters and then they're on the island, they're driving. You could see, like, there's just the shots, like the just whatever's going on around them is, green screened in. And I can't think of any right now, but there's just certain things like that it's like, oh, that isn't happening. Interesting. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. When they're driving on the planes, kind of when they're catching the dinosaurs the first time, especially like the one shot with the guy riding on the motorcycle past the Parasaurolophus, it really feels green screen. Yeah. I mean, but the dinosaurs themselves are good. Right. But it's the interaction when you put something real right next to it that kind of makes it like, Exactly. So that's why I was a huge fan of practical effects, or when they tried to obscure shots, like when they were working on the dinosaur with the whole spit scene. Yeah, right. Well, where they obscured her hands, and so you couldn't tell that she was interacting with it, so it looked quote unquote real. Right. Yeah, I mean, but Park, they
a lot of the stuff is still working with, models and trying to be as practical as possible. I think there's a bit more CG in the second one because,
I would imagine the budget would be higher. I don't have the budget in front of me, if you could look it up, but I would imagine the budget would be higher because it would be kind of dumb. This movie was so good, it made so much money, we need to make another one, but with less money.
It feels like they were trying to do more action stuff with bigger dinosaurs too in this one. So,
right.
Which
feels weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm not against action in Jurassic Park because, the first one clearly was made to have action in it, but there's something about this one that, at least the scene in the trailer, I mentioned that I loved it, but it felt like they had to sit there and go, ooh, let's throw in some action. How are we going to do that? Vince Vaughn's character is going to be stupid, and for some odd reason, even though obviously his girlfriend was in there, Jeff Goldblum's going to come back at the right moment. And Dino Parents.
It's the whole idea of, stupid decisions, but for the right reason and the wrong reason.
Yeah.
His character makes the stupid decision because I don't want the baby to die. The mercenaries make the stupid decision. It's because they want to get paid. It's like, of all the characters that make stupid decisions, whose side of the fence would you rather be on? The one that's trying to do something good, or the one that's doing something bad? Either way, people are going to get eaten.
Fair. That's very true.
And it actually made me really sad when Eddie, that character, the tech guy, when he died. Because, damn it, he was trying to save everybody else in the trailer the whole time, and then the Tyrannosaurus just tear him apart.
Yeah, that sucked. Yeah. I'm like, lighter news.
Usually when the T-Rex tears someone apart, I'm rooting for it.
Yeah.
Like the lawyer in the first one.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, God. I'll say, though, so obviously the logical progression was that the mercenaries meet, Jeff Goldblum and co. Obviously that was the whole, that was what was going to happen eventually. It was always, inevitable. But I don't know, it felt strange that the mercenaries, I know, not a lot of them did, but, first off, another thing, too, by the way, it felt like they were just really fucking stupid, even though they had all the, not super, super dumb, and I know someone might say, but they're super dumb for going. Look, man, if you really feel like you've hunted all of the quote-unquote game, and you're like, no, I need bigger, thrills, you go dinosaur hunting, I would imagine. You want more money than ever? Yeah. You go dinosaur hunting, I would imagine.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because, the hunter, the guy who was leading the operation.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. He was actually smart. It's like his services, he wanted the right to hunt, the male T-Rex. And it's like, okay, you're insane. But, he's a hunter and he's going after all sorts of other big game. So it's like he kind of does know what he's doing, sort of, because he even says when the nephew who's funding the whole thing is like, oh, let's just set up base camp here. The hunter turns around to him and says, you fuck up. This is a game trail. So unless you want us all to get fucking eaten within the first 5 minutes of landing here, you will delay that order and you will listen to me. And if you don't listen to me, you can sit here, get your ass eaten, and I will be on my merry way. Is that fucking clear?
And then he did. But, the way I look at it is this, right? I only bring it up the whole, they seem dumb, is because they have all this info in the world, and it seemed like most of them were just like, I guess we'll just do this thing, and oh, no, we're eating. And it's like, not all of you should have been fodder. Some of you, perhaps. So, I don't know, it felt like...
They kind of had everything under control until the heroes decided to fuck up their base camp. Because once they lost all their equipment and vehicles, they were kind of out in the open. and with no defense or no means of getting away quickly.
Well, I was referring to earlier when they were just intense and the dinosaurs just come charging in. Like way before. Like when, what's his name? When the big game hunter and I think nephew or someone else were sitting on a tree somewhere and they're like, oh shit, what's going on over there?
Yeah. Well, that's because, Malcolm and his people started letting them loose in their base camp. And so they got loose and then shit went down. Yeah. Right,
my bad. Okay, good point, sorry. But, I only bring it up because of the fact, like, in general, like, them being dumb. It's just in general because, like, I don't know, I feel like the two, like, I know the two should have met because, again, like, they're going to have to meet eventually. But it feels like, it kind of feels like it takes away from the dinosaurs. Like, oh, no, these are the villains. But not really, though, because then they mostly get eaten later. And then we're back in California, and then we know who the true villains are now. Capitalism? No, little Johnny, it's dinosaurs. But capitalism is what's the problem here? Because, no, it's that shitty guy. You mean the one that has a lot of money? So money is the... Shut up, Johnny. Like the dinosaur movie.
They're still the villains because they're the ones trying to exploit, the dinosaurs for their own greedy means. I mean, the animals are neutral, basically, until you fuck with them. And then they eat you.
Well, I mean, no. They also get hungry.
Yeah, but they're not going to eat you unless you're in their territory. And if everyone stayed the fuck away from the island, like Hammond was trying to do in the first place after his humongous fuck-up, it would have been okay. But no, we have to find a way to make money off of it.
Okay.
It's that whole idea
I'll give you that.
It's the idea of humans not having any respect for nature. It's like, oh, we made them. We control them. It's like we own them. We can do whatever the fuck we want with them.
Nah.
Yeah, in your mind, sure. When you actually try to put that into practice, it always turns into screaming and running and yelling and death.
That old shtick.
Oh yeah, at first it's wonderful, and then 5 minutes later it's all screaming and yelling, running.
Jesus. Yeah. So okay, I have to say. Speaking of the whole, because here's the thing too, by the way, you mentioned like, oh yeah, because Eddie is dying on my screen right now. I have to say, I was not a fan of, not even just Eddie getting torn in half, just showing that kind of violence. I was like, I know people are going to laugh at me right now, like, Matt, you love gory shit. It's like, I do. No. Like, I love seeing some crazy shit, right? I do. But it felt so strange to me that, in a movie like, in the first Jurassic Park, people died, but no one got ripped in half like that by two dinosaurs that were clearly like, aren't we in love, honey?
The lawyer did.
In the first one?
Yeah, when the T-Rex ate him off the toilet, he bit him in half.
I think I must have said the same shit then, perhaps.
That was the part that my parents always used to forward through when I was a kid, because they're like, yeah, we can show you the movie with the dinosaurs, and then like the gory parts, we'll let you see that when you're older.
Actually, I would like to apologize profusely. I just remembered, I think it was dead Samuel L. Jackson's head. Wasn't it? Like his head or his arm? His arm,
no,
yeah.
His arm.
Yeah. Never mind. I'm a dick.
And the the hunter in that movie too. Clever girl. Raptor jumps on him. It's like the leaves are only obscuring a bit. The raptor is still obviously biting him on his face.
What? I thought the raptor was saying hello. Anyway, the strangest thing, by the way, you know what the strangest thing? No, speaking of deaths in the movie, the strangest thing was in the beginning when the little girl is clearly getting murdered and Hammond's like, it was only a flesh wound. She's actually doing just fine. Like, no, she's fucking not.
I mean, I think they got to her before, although, it was a small child. I mean, that's the other thing. The consignathus, are nothing to shake a stick at from that other jackass, the hunter's second in command. He made that whole joke about it's like, they have no reason to be afraid of man. They've never seen it. And then he hits it with a shock stick, and he's like, no, it does. And it's like, yeah, guess what? That one fucking remembered you, and guess what? He brought his friends this time, and you're lost and turned around and bleeding after you fell down a hill in the middle of nowhere in the woods. And guess what? They're going to fucking eat your ass. Now who's afraid of who?
And then they did.
And it was glorious.
I love just like, hey, get away. Okay, we're going to get away. No, there's more of you. No, there's not. Just turn around. I don't like this.
God.
Come on, man. We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
What's on the menu? Don't worry about it. What's your name? My name's John. Oh, John's on the menu. But my name's John. Oh, it is.
What a coincidence. The special on the menu today is also John.
Yes. Oh, my God. But one thing I enjoyed, and I don't know if they were going for it intentionally, but either way I loved it, when they're chasing him, and I guess they, maybe it's in their head, they were like, oh, we don't want to CGI all these little things chasing him constantly. So what they end up doing is they end up bringing the camera in as he's running away. And it was so interesting to do because it reminded me of the first Evil Dead film, where to save budget, they end up, and also because, it's like a force, they just kind of show the camera moving slowly around the cabin, and sometimes they'll even just have the camera zoom in real quick to possess someone. Instead of showing, like, demonic energy or some bullshit like that, they just have the camera moving around as if it's like an unseen enemy.
Right, yeah. No, that's pretty cool, too,
so,
yeah.
Yes. So they did that here in a sense, although I assume it was because they didn't want to animate those little things constantly. So as he's running away, they just have the camera slowly panning towards him, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Right.
But also, funnily enough, how many, even though it seemed like many of those guys died the first time around, how many of them were still around? Just random unnamed dudes like, hey, remember 5 minutes ago when I don't even think I existed?
And now I do.
No, like, because a lot of them look like just random extras that I was like, were you here the first time around? I don't know if I remember you.
It's like, so why isn't my part specified? It's like, oh, no reason. Raptor noises. Ah, crap.
Speaking of just general, because, like, I don't know why I'm getting so worked up when it comes to, because I know that if I was against dinosaurs, I'd just be like, eat me. You're going to kill me eventually. Just, I'm going to lie down and you do your thing, right? But it's so interesting how they're like, let's camp out here. And I guess maybe they decided, oh, this is the area that would be the least dino-infested. But the dinosaurs are like, actually, we can smell you. We're not fucking stupid. But I only bring it up because, like, it was so, okay, and by the way, I would like to mention something. I know that I just retracted my statement of, like, violence in Jurassic Park. Oh, my. I know I retracted it. But do you think there was some more violence in this movie than in the first one?
Yeah, definitely. I think they went for
so it's
death and a little bit more gore in this one.
Okay, good. So at least no, because I know I retracted my whole, I retracted that, but I only wanted to bring it up because as I see the guy get trampled, right, as he's running away, or he gets scared, he sits there, he gets trampled. He then is still stuck on the dinosaur's foot, and I'm like, that's strange.
Until he finally just drops off and into a puddle. Yeah.
Good. So as long as it wasn't just me, because I wanted to just clarify. I was like, let me just ask Tristan for a second. We're on a podcast, is what we're doing here. So yeah, okay, I know you said you like this one more than the third, but I don't think I asked you on this show, and I think I've asked you before in general, How do you feel about the California thing, though? Like, not so much from a plot perspective, like, oh, does it make sense, like we've been talking about. Did you actually enjoy it? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was too much like King Kong? Do you think King Kong did it better?
I mean, it's odd. It does kind of make the movie feel a little bit longer than it needs to be, but at the same time, it kind of provided a twist as opposed to the first one, because I feel like if they had ended with just them getting off the island and that was it, then it would feel too much like the first one, even though that I feel at least that it had enough differences that I would have still enjoyed it for what it was, but they wanted to drive home the whole point of, well, what's different this time, guys? It's like, they were on the island, they got eaten by dinosaurs, they escaped. Yes, but this time they're making the even worse mistake of bringing the dinosaurs back with them. Like, oh, why would they do that? Because people want money, and they're stupid.
You know what? Okay. I will give you that. Yes, it would seem too much like the first one if they didn't get off the island. Funnily enough, though, that was the original plan. Because originally Spielberg did not want to... He wanted to direct a third one. So he thought, oh, I would leave dinosaurs coming to the mainland for the third one, for a potential third one. And as much as I agree with you that number 2 would feel very much like the first one, it does feel odd that they went for that very large progression of like, not only are we off the island, but now they're in California. Like, that seems very rushed in a way. Like, yes, you mentioned it would have been too much of the first one, and it does make the movie feel like unnecessarily longer, but it also feels like it was tacked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel very strange about it because, so Spielberg, when he decided, I'm not going to film, he's not going to personally direct a third one, he thought, okay, you know what, I would like to put that scene in the end of the second film, and then here we are with, and you know what's the thing too, by the way, it's not like I would have wanted it to be shorter necessarily, because, you don't want it to make it seem like them being in California is no big deal.
Right, yeah.
But at the same time, it felt like it could have been its own 30-minute special on, by itself.
Yeah, right. But I mean,
so that,
on the other hand, who doesn't want to see, a Tyrannosaurus rampaging down, the streets of L.A.?
It's funny. I do, so yeah. Right? I'm not disagreeing. All I'm trying to say is that I feel like it could have been removed from the film.
Yeah, no, I do get where you're coming from.
Now, I don't know what a third would have been. Maybe a third would have been a successful park. Like, all of you were crazy. This is working. Until the dinosaurs attack.
We haven't gotten to that movie yet, Matt.
Fair. But still, so also another, I was going to say another thing, but we already mentioned the whole fact of, just the public. The public can't know about dinosaurs hurting people. Well, they might now know about dinosaurs hurting people.
What do we do if the public is in fact being the ones being hurt by dinosaurs, and now they know that they're here?
Well,
what do you mean?
Here's what we do. No, we do have a contingency plan. Stop it. You tell Malcolm to go on TV, and then we'll just say he's lying again.
Oh, my God.
It'll be perfect.
Well, that's why I loved you get that little scene at the end with, the girl watching TV, and it's Hammond on screen talking about, trying to preserve the island and just letting life take its course. It's like, oh, right, he puts it as, these creatures don't need us to survive. No, in fact, they need just the opposite. They need an absence of us. All we have to do is just stand back and let go. And, and they are...
No, we should nuke them.
Well, that took a turn.
I'm sorry. I'm not saying we should destroy... I'm not a big fan of... to be fair, I'm not a big fan of nukes, so I don't think we should actually nuke them, personally.
Yeah, I was going to say that. And guess what? Now you're part of the problem because now you've created Godzilla. Good job.
I know, right? A bunch of... But then we got to get a giant ape to push it somewhere else.
I'm going to push you somewhere else.
Is that? Oh my God! I think that's the first time you've ever threatened me on air. Oh shit! We've reached a high point.
I don't know what cast you're listening to, but
no, it shouldn't be the first time you've physically. But no, but this is the first time you've actually said, "I'll push you somewhere." You've threatened me in many other ways, but never that blatantly.
Okay, one of us has not been listening closely enough to this cast.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
not sure
Jeez.
which one it is. One of us.
You mean the guy that's editing them, you piece of shit?
Hey, well, that says more about you than it does me, I guess.
All right. Well, one thing I want to say is that while I said earlier, it felt like they had to tack on his girlfriend and his daughter. I don't think we stated enough in this podcast how much we loved their dynamic and their relationship. We said it briefly, but I really want to drive it home. I loved it. It just sucked that, like, once they got off the island, it was then like, well, we don't need the daughter anymore. Obviously, you didn't need her around anymore, but they kind of just deleted her for a bit. Like, all right, she's somewhere else. We're good.
Yeah.
Like, you kept a good chunk of the movie going without one of the bigger characters that was in the film, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't know, like maybe it's just me. Like I'm not saying she was the biggest character, because she was just, the daughter. But there was that dynamic there, and there was, both the comedy and the drama there that really felt like, I don't know, it felt like it was strangely dropped. Like, we're having family issues, Dad. You're right, daughter. A lot of family issues. Family issues, Dad. No, you're right. A lot of family drama here. And it just left. Like it just dissipated.
Right.
Like, I know there's obviously bigger shit going on in the background, but it's kind of funny when it's just like, look at all that family drama. What family drama? You're right. Dinosaurs. Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm going to have to be the one to address the Tyrannosaurus in the room. Roars. No, not you. We'll get back to you in a minute. Hushes, quiets down, oh, I'm sorry. I'll give you guys a minute.
Tyrannosaurus is just like, hey, would any of you guys happen to have a Sony for me to just kind of play with? You can't play those with your little arms.
It's
starts crying.
Am I interrupting? Do you guys need a moment? I could come back. Or, oh, no, better yet, it's like, oh, you have family problems. My son gets stolen for the second time today, and you get to talk about your family problems. You know what?
I think the saddest part of the movie, and I mean truly the saddest part, is the fact that a dog was eaten by a T-Rex.
Mommy, Daddy, there's a dinosaur in our backyard. Oh, my God. It's his fish tank.
I want...
You get him a proper nightlight.
I want everybody, and I want everybody at home to watch that scene again, because that scene, I'm pretty sure I have it on good authority that scene is literally a scene taken from Tristan Walter's life. That exact scene, just, Mommy, Daddy, there's dinosaurs outside. And just your parents like, oh, come on, not again.
I mean, no, because I knew better than to wake my parents from a sound sleep unless it was a damn good reason.
You're telling me dinosaurs outside wouldn't be a damn good reason?
I mean, no. Well, yes, but...
Mommy, Daddy, do you know King Kong's number? Why, sweetie? I gotta call someone.
Oh, my God.
We gotta do something.
Oh, God.
I have to say, it's sad for the dog that the dinosaur ate it, but man, would it have been sad for the dinosaur if it met a cat. That dinosaur would have gotten fucked up. Come on. Little kitty would have went right for the eye.
I mean, you're right. or the nose.
Just a blind dinosaur running around.
What do you call a blind dinosaur?
The same thing you call everything else. No, I don't know. That wasn't right.
Dead. Same thing you call everything else in this movie. Dead. Oh my God.
Oh God. So, do you know what would have happened if the dinosaur stayed on the island? Not the island being would have stayed on the mainland is what I'm trying to say. If he would have stayed in California, you know what would have happened?
Life would find a way.
Yes, because in 50 years he'd be riding on a motorcycle like 50 years have passed. I do not age.
Oh my God.
Just a dinosaur on a motorcycle with samurai armor for some odd reason.
See, now you're explaining my childhood.
Yeah, right. Just I'm combining way too much. Just fucking the nephew. The fool tries to go back to the island.
Oh my God.
Ah, Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, I don't know, man. I felt like the end. I understand what they were doing, and I get it because it's like, yeah, I feel like you know what it is. Here's the reason why I think the end really made me feel like it was too much, because it felt like there was no conclusion where it was going to be like a big, because this isn't a movie like Power Rangers or Godzilla or King, or obviously King Kong didn't have anyone fighting him personally, but like usually in like as Godzilla movies go on, or even in a movie like the original Godzilla, you have planes coming in trying to shoot it down, military, stuff like that, but you didn't want to make it too much like those films, so it's kind of just like a survival horror movie, which I know that's what Jurassic Park is as a whole, but the reason why it works is because you have them on an island, or in this case, a different island entirely, but you have them on an island where it's like, we can't fight back, it's only just us.
Right.
But here it's like, we've brought it to California, and it's kind of just like, what are we going to do? Well, I mean, I know it was in the early stages, you couldn't assemble the military that quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the military would have been on that pretty goddamn quick.
No, yes, but it only took 20 minutes. So, obviously local cops are like, right. Can we shoot at it? No, Jim. What about harder? No, Jim, not any harder.
Well, that was the scene that I loved where it's, the two of them with the baby running away in the sports car. And, LAPD comes around the corner, and it's like 5 different SWAT cars, and then it's just a T-Rex, and it looks at them, and it roars, and they all just, come to a full stop and just throw it in reverse and spin out and run pedal to the metal in the opposite direction.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's just my whole thing, where it felt like when it comes to the ending, because we're at the ending, we're going to wrap some things up soon. When it comes to the end of the film with, this dino just kind of charging through L.A., the biggest issue is that it felt like there wasn't going to be anything large enough to take it down, so it felt like its end would have to be, because I understand how in the first movie, I think I made a similar thing, it felt weird the way it, ended. But it was still supposed to be survival horror no matter what. It wasn't going to be oh my goodness, Hammond, you got the mecha suit. Yes, I did.
Oh my God.
You weren't going to have that shit happen, right? Where it's mecha suit, fucking giant explosions. This is not, Michael Bay didn't make the movie. So
again,
we're going to have...
yet.
We haven't gotten to that one yet, right? We haven't gotten to the giant robo fights with... That's Jurassic World, right? Giant robo fights.
Yeah,
with dinosaurs.
You don't know.
I haven't seen it. I wouldn't know.
Exactly, you don't know.
All I remember hearing was it was a lot like the first movie with giant robo fights. That's all I heard. So I don't know. But
sorry.
Anyway,
somebody spoiled it for you big time.
Yeah, someone spoiled it big time. I feel really bad about that. It's like with Episode 7, right, with Star Wars Episode 7, someone told me that Han Solo lived, and I was like, damn it! Thankfully, I saw it, and he survived. Anyway,
oh, my God.
But, yeah. so jumping back into this film, I didn't hate it. All right, that's my final consensus, my final thought as we wrap it up. I didn't hate the movie. All right, I actually enjoyed a lot of different parts of the movie. And I know it seems like I put down Jeff Goldblum, but I really like that his character was focused on. I know it sounds like, well, you just said. No, I like that it was focused on. My only issue was that it just felt strange if you're not going to get Grant back. It feels, like it is kind of a Jurassic Park Lost World situation, where it's like, let's just get that guy and let's mention Grant once in that one throwaway line.
Right.
And also we gave Malcolm a girlfriend who, while being a lot tougher than him, I still don't feel like she really got a chance to shine necessarily. Like, they showed her originally seeming like super cool because she is, and then I feel like after that it was a slow decline.
Right.
No, like, because she was super cool. I just feel like when she first appeared, you're like, yeah, badass, And then as time went on, you're like, not as much. Not that the other ones were more powerful than her necessarily, but it just felt like, I don't know, it felt like over time she just became another person in the background, depending on the situation.
Yeah.
Yes, but so you like this movie less. You like this movie more than the third, but you obviously like it less than the first. As a standalone, like, if this movie was never made, would you have cried? Like, would you have been like, no, but we needed this movie?
I mean, yeah, I think I'd still be, like, if they had said, oh, we're going to make this, and then it never came out, I think I would be bummed about it, yeah.
And if the third one was the second one?
Oh, I would be livid.
Okay. All right.
I'm not even going to lie to you, Matt. I would be livid.
And that's okay. Tristan. That's okay. I'm sorry to hear it, but you know what? That's okay. Thankfully, the Tranquil killed the beasts. Tranquilizer, specifically. The Tranquilizer killed the More Than Beauty. I forgot the line. Capitalism killed the beast.
Oh, I was so happy that the baby Tyrannosaur got to eat the guy at the end. That was amazing.
Honey, don't play with your food.
Yeah, no, and like Pop T-Rex is in the background, like, oh, I'm so proud of you, son. Like, this is your first hunt. Like, go get him.
Dad, are you proud of me now? I know that according to sitcom logic I'm not supposed to be, but son, I'm proud of you. Da-na-na. That was a sweet moment. And that was a sweet moment, and that guy screaming ruined it completely.
Maybe for you, but...
Right. That just added to the love. So the end of the movie, I have to say, though, even though I know it seems like Hammond's like he's turned over a new leaf or anything, and everything, but I still feel like there should be something else there. Like, it just feels super strange that he's able to just be like, yes, and everything will be great now. It's like, you killed like 5 people. We can kind of prove that now because of...
Oh, yeah, no, like, that's the thing. Like, I don't think we should make any assumptions that he's not going to die alone in poverty after the amount of lawsuits that his company went through. I don't think he's going to die in comfort. Granted, it still looks like he was in comfort where he was.
He should be in jail.
But, yeah.
He should be in jail.
I mean, he might have very well gone to jail after all that.
For only 3 years? I mean, sure, he's a very, very, very rich man. Yeah. He was out in 1.
Oh, my God.
He was out in 1 year. But no, yeah. Oh, back to what I said earlier. I'm not saying we should nuke the dinosaurs, okay? I don't know, man. Like, I just feel weird where, like, you see them flying around, pterodactyls. I don't imagine them just being like, wait a minute, are those? Oh, shit, those are, what?
Ha.
Wait, what?
You'll see.
Shut up. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck that. Now I understand what you're talking about, but at first I was like, fuck you talking about? So then, yeah, do you think that they didn't want to do something more drastic because they were like, sequel opportunity, we made the second one, maybe more?
Possibly.
Obviously, they did make the third one, but I mean, like, we're talking about this one. So, like, yeah, do you think they sat back and they were like, Jurassic Park 3, The Lost Continent?
Oh, God.
Just make them larger. Jurassic Park 4, The Lost Universe. Sorry, The Lost Galaxy.
I mean,
which is also a Power Rangers.
Make them
Jurassic
larger.
Park.
What you're making
5.
larger is long, but, like, you're getting warmer.
Jurassic Park 5, The Lost Universe.
Oh my God. No, that's
Jurassic
the
Park 6. That's what I said. Jurassic Park 5, The Lost Universe. Jurassic Park 6, The Lost Multiverse.
Right, exactly. Then you're going to have
Jurassic Park 7,
parts.
The Lost Humor, because this joke is dead.
Oh, yeah.
But jokes find a way, Tristan. And thankfully all of you did, because you found a way to listen to this podcast. So thank you all so much for listening in to our... I wish I could say we were drunk while doing this one, but we're not. We're just extremely fucking tired.
Okay. I mean, I didn't think it was
It was
that
a good
bad.
show.
All right.
Oh, then I'm sorry. It was a great show. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to... Tristan, you did so well, Tristan. No, you did just fine. I just know that I feel sick, but I also feel completely just drained because I think because everyone saw the update video that I did on our YouTube channel. So I hope you guys saw that because a lot of shit's been going on. So I've just been out of it. So I'm just like, I hope this was a good show. I hope you all liked it. And if you didn't, then complain on YouTube because you will anyway when you see that this isn't the Jurassic Park movie, but it's a review. No, that happens a lot. It's funny. Some people might be like, what are you talking about? That happens on our YouTube channel. Some of the Dragon Ball Z movies, they are called reviews, but I don't know if, some people, if they go mobile or whatever they watch YouTube on and it cuts it off, and they think that our YouTube podcasts are our actual movies. So the amount of vitriol that I get just spewed, it's wonderful. And I say it's wonderful because I look at this and I'm like, wow, I'm a lot of things.
Right.
And I'm a lot of things, Tristan. But, yeah. So anyway, the point is, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hope you enjoyed the movie when you watched it. Hope you didn't think it was a waste of time. I didn't, but I hope other people didn't either. And, yeah, so I just want to say thank you all so much for listening in, and I want to mention that I hope you're listening in through our Blog Talk Radio account, which is blogtalkradio.com/those-guys-on-the-radio. Maybe listening in through our iTunes, which you looked up Those Guys on iTunes and found us there. Maybe through our YouTube channel, which is Those Guys on the Radio. You can search that up and find us there as well. Hope you were watching some of our Let's Plays that we do. We have our Those Guys Play YouTube channel, and we even have, by the way, speaking of our podcast again, I want to mention we actually have Keikaku Corner, a weekly anime news show that Tristan and I do. So we do a lot of different anime news on that show. And we not only have Keikaku Corner, we have moving over to TG Productions where we have Anime Classics, we have Toku Trivia, and some other upcoming shows as well there. And again, mentioned Those Guys Play earlier. Tristan and I have done, speaking of anime stuff, we've done Dragon Ball Z Let's Plays. We've done not so much anime when it comes to Luigi's Mansion Let's Plays. We did Luigi's Mansion Let's Plays. Speaking of dinosaurs, we did Disney's Dinosaurs, Tristan. That's the game that keeps on taking. Our sanity,
right,
our soul.
Not sure if you can hear me, but hope you enjoyed.
I can hear you.
To cast on Jurassic Park 2, Lost World, and thank you and have a good night.
Good night, everybody.